Hi guys, it's Ray. Today we are starting another Buffalo Plaid Christmas tumbler. We're going to do this on a 30-ounce thick. We're going to use this You Serious Clark decal up here. We're going to put some red check at the bottom. May cut this down a tiny bit more because I think I'm going to do a very skinny strip of green glitter across the middle. And I'm going to do white glitter on the bottom and white glitter on the top part. So I don't think I need to cut that down anymore. I think this is good enough because I just want a skinny band. So we're going to get started. I think this is going to be about 1 inch too wide. So, or 1 inch too long, I should say, not wide. So we're going to have to cut it off in there somewhere. A little bit of overlap is fine, but I don't want too much. So that should be good enough, maybe. Yep. All right. So I am going to mark this. I'm going to mark it. Maybe straight. Prop it up right here a second. And I think this is my factory edge. Not that it really, truly matters. I know. I'm sorry. All right. All right. So let's get this lined up. Hopefully somewhat straight. Just rubbing it down as I go with my hand, obviously. A little bit of a bubble in there that I'll take care of. See, I can never, ever do this straight. And I don't really like lifting the vinyl because sometimes it lifts the paint with it. I'm actually just going to stretch the vinyl a little bit. Which will get it lined up at least a little bit closer. I'm going to rub that bottom edge down. And I am going to just trim that so it's going to give the illusion of more even. Even though I'm going to go over that with white glitter, so. Okay. So, now there's my plaid. I will come through and pop these bubbles later. I think what I want to do is my white glitter first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually make a tape line, and that's as thick as my green glitter is going to be. So I'm going to run that even with the top of the vinyl. And I know the vinyl dips there a little bit, but it's going to line back up on this end. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Let's see. Do I have a paintbrush ready? Probably not, because I picked up my table. I got a brush. I got a cup that had some Mod Podge in it. It's getting a little bit thick, but I'm gonna pour some more in. I need to clean out my Mod Podge. It's got a little gloopy bit in it still. So, get that out of the way. I'm just going to put a good coat on. Just trying to get even strokes. Alright, set that aside a minute. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper. And I'm just going to go ahead and use Touch of Rose sheet for this white because, well, it's out. So, and if you saw a couple videos back, I contaminated this with a little bit of red. So I can't really use it as a full-on cheek glitter anymore. Just my own carelessness. I got most of the red out, but there's still a tiny bit in here. So my own fault. I realize this light's not on. Oh, ta-da. You can see where the red is scattered throughout a little bit. Like I said, my own fault. I know better. And this will get taken out and spray sealed before I put epoxy on it, so it's going to have a good long time for the Mod Podge to dry first. So I'm going to come back in and do the bottom now before I clean up this white. going over a little bit, but I'm going to wipe that back off in a second. You can see this here. This is where I went over a little bit and I actually lifted my paint back off. So it does happen. This is just a little piece of a damp paper towel from earlier working on water slides. So I'm just gonna get as much of that off as I can. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and glitter the bottom. Just out of curiosity, if you're a Christmas person, I'd love to know what your favorite Christmas movie is. If you want to post it in a link down below, or in the comments down below. Just for curiosity's sake. Okay. That looks pretty good. I will brush this off. Maybe I'll just finger brush it off right now. I'm actually probably going to put a full sheet over this entire tumbler. So I'm not too concerned. So, at this point, if you wanted to, you could let your white glitter dry and then come back and do your green. I am not going to do that. Sorry, I had to move a cup out of the way. My drying rack right here was full. I'm not going to do that. I don't have the luxury of time particularly, or space. So, I'm going to clean this up and go right into my green. I just paused you a second there while I got a smaller brush, because that's going to be a disaster if I try and do it that way. So, if you don't have a steady hand, you can seal it, epoxy it, tape it off top and bottom, and then do this part. It's totally up to you what works best for your skill level. I know some people think I rush things, but it's just the way I work. I don't like to add tons and tons of extra layers of epoxy that I don't find necessary. Just work however works best for you. Alright, so I think that's full coverage. This is my favorite olive hue. This whole bottle of glitter is going to be done by the time I'm done with Christmas cups, I swear. And if you feel like this coat is too thin because there is quite a bit of the white showing through, I would normally mix in a little bit of green paint, and I just did not. If you feel like it's too thin, go ahead and go again once this layer's dry. So I probably will because it is thin, and I will try and brush some more of this green off and some more of this green off, but for now I'm going to let it sit and dry a bit. So I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to get another layer of green on and spray seal it, and then I'm going to get a coat of epoxy on it, and then I will be back to put our cute little decal on. That's all it's going to get. It's just going to be fairly simple. So I'll be back. Okay, I am ready to get a coat of epoxy on this, and I do think I'm going to put an additive in it, just to give the plaid a little sparkle, because, you know, I'm like that. So I'm going to separate out some resin in my cup here. I'm going to do quite a bit. I probably could have just mixed it in what was left of that cup, but that's alright. And I'm going to use my Touch of Rose Diamond Dust. Just a little bit. Put the cap back on that before I make a mess. And I'm just going to mix it with this stick because I already mixed a cup of the same thing with this stick. Okay. And we'll just get a layer on here. I know, I am loving my Touch of Rose for the holiday stuff, especially in diamond dust form. I like the glitter form too. Obviously that's what I used, but I really like the dust version of it as a top additive. And I do have more resin mixed, so I know it's giving my green a little shimmer too, and I'm fine with that. Giving it a little more than just green, I should say. Just trying to get my lines smoothed out, mostly. My edges, because this is not its final coat of resin by any means. So, like I said, I probably could have just mixed the rest in here. But I don't really care if the rest gets the additive because it's already the Touch of Rose glitter. So, I just really need my lines where I'm going to put my pinstripes down smooth after this coat, my glitter transitions, and preferably this top coat of white smooth for the water slide. So, and this is a big cup, so this did need quite a bit for this coat. But that's also okay because it's actually the first coat of resin on this cup, so it's okay if it's a little bit heavier. So I'm just going to smooth that out. And smooth it out. Alright, so we're going to let this dry, and then tomorrow we'll come in and get the 3 pinstripes on, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and the water slide, which this water slide's kind of funny to me, and this is why I tell you guys to look at stuff. But there's no dot on the eye, so I'm probably just going to get a black vinyl dot to dot it, because it's going to drive me nuts without the dot. But I'll be back. Okay, we're going to get this pinstriped and get the water slide on. So let's start on this side. And I already got my strips started. I just cut pieces of vinyl. I hand cut them with a paper trimmer because I did not feel like firing up the Cricut to cut stripes. So we're just going to wrap them on. Just regular, whatever vinyl you have will do. I thought about using like a silver nail tape or something, but I decided I just really wanted black. This cup's already got enough flash to it for my liking. So, figured I'd stick to basic. And I'm just going to cut the ends. I'm not doing a top stripe of any sort because it would just be floating out there by itself and not necessary. So that's what we've got so far. There's that back seam. We're going to set it this way. I've got my water slide ready to go. Again, this does need a dot on the eye. It drives me nuts, but I don't have one cut yet, so I'll do that before I get the epoxy on it. Oop, after the water slide dries. And I just dumped my water everywhere. So I'm gonna mop that up a little bit. I'm also finding feathers from a different project everywhere today. Okay, I'm gonna get my cup a little bit damp while I wait on that. Whoa, that was a little aggressive. So, it's on there. I'm going to try and get it evened up a little bit. Looks good to me. Other than that, pesky little dot. Alright, so I'm going to let this dry. Isn't that cute? Pretty simple, but I like it. I'm going to let it dry. I'll come back in and slap a dot on there and get a final coat of epoxy on it. Okay, so I dotted the eye with this with a marker. So hopefully it doesn't smudge under the resin, but I'm ready to get some resin on it, so let's go. I give it a pretty decent coat in hopes that this will be the final coat, that it will cover the vinyl strips and all that thoroughly. So should be enough. And I'm just going to start smoothing it on. This is a pretty simple overall cup, but I really just, it's classic Christmas, like, you know. But with a little bit of fun in the decal, so I like it. Hopefully some of you guys like it too. So the touch of rose really shows a lot of rose in the diamond dust compared to the glitter itself. I actually think it was a great choice for this cup. I love the way it looks over the plaid, and I like how it's on top of the green a little bit. So my Sharpie didn't move for my eye dot, so that's a bonus. And I don't want to take this glove off because I have a lot of resin mixed up and I need to keep moving right along, so I'm just going to bring the cup to you for a close-up. Can you see that rose on there though? Holy. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love it. Some of my green did wander a tiny bit, but you know what? It doesn't even bother me. But I fixed my dot, so a Sharpie will work on top of the dried Waterslide. Good to know. And that is this one done. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.